Hi guys, it's Sherry. So today we are going to be working on another 80s project and we are going to cover our tin. And I decided that I want to use this silkscreen. I love this silkscreen. Look how cool this is. We are really going to bring this silkscreen to life. So the first thing you want to do is roll out your black Primo clay. I have it to my third thickest setting and I want to place my silkscreen down. I'm going to trim it up because we do not need all of this clay. Okay, and then I am going to take my metallic white and then just put your white paint right across it. And then get your scraper and run it right over your entire silkscreen. Make sure you press it right into there. Okay. Now carefully lift it up. Look how beautiful. All right, so we will let that dry. Rinse out your silkscreen right away so it does not get ruined. And then when this dries, we'll come back. Okay, guys, so our piece is dry. And I took my Primo Sunshine Yellow and I rolled that out at the same thickness, which is my third thickest setting. And what I'm going to do is I am just going to take this stencil and I'm just going to roll it just to get a good impression on there. There we go. And that should be all that we need. All right, so now our next step is to figure out exactly where we need to kind of cut this. So I want to just lay that down, and I always want to make it a little bit bigger. Then I have my oven baked clay adhesive. I'm just going to lay this right on top. I want to get a nice coat on here. Make sure it's covered. Okay. Once you have that coated, take your piece. Actually, I'm going to take this one. And we're going to lay that right down. And then I am going to put that facing on the bottom. Get my X-Acto knife, and then I am going to just trace right around my whole piece. Look how nice that looks. All right, so then my next step is I want to take my yellow clay and I want to wrap this right around my piece. So you know what, a matter of fact, I want one long wrap. So I am going to take this and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. There we go. And we'll leave that part alone because it kind of got a little messy there. And I need to see exactly, when I measure, I just kind of take my clay, another piece of clay, and then I will cut it off where it needs to be. And that's kind of how I measure. So now I know that's how wide my clay has to be. So I will lay this right down on here. Let's put it right on the top. And then I know my clay has to be at that thickness. And it may be a little off, but at least you will be close. Okay. And you could clean it up afterwards. So now let's get our adhesive again, and we will do right around our edge. Watch that little hinge area. And get your glue all around it. And I'll actually start in the back. And I actually did it, I think I did it the opposite way because that's bigger. And I cut it wrong, unfortunately. I don't know how I did that. How did I do that? Because that, oh, I measured it the wrong direction. Ay, 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 silly me. All right, so let's recut this. Come on. Let's just stop it here. We'll just piece it together because this is not working. That's just too long. My blade is not long enough to do it properly. Okay. So now I'll just start here and I'm going to work my way around. Try not to press too hard because you don't want to mess up your imprint here. Just press it nicely right up against the black clay. And let's do another one. And this time, make sure we measure it properly. I'm going to try to get, I'm going to put this right up against my lines here so I know that it is laying straight. And just cut that right off there. Okay, and we got it. So we will carefully just place everything on here. I am going to take my stencil and just kind of push that in a bit to kind of hide that. Okay, oops. Would have been nice if I had one long piece, but that's not working for me today. So we need to work around it. All right. So now I will do my sides with this. And I just, let me cut off this area. And I go straight across. And I want to cut that. Cut your sides here. Let's get an idea how much I need. Because I want to stop, I'm not going to open the lid up. I want to stop right where the lid would open. So you'll see I have like a little tiny gap there. So I want to make sure that I have that. And let's mark that. So that's where we need to cut. I'm just going to put this right on top of here. Cut another one and one more. Okay, 3 should give us just what we need. Oh, that didn't cut all the way through. Alrighty. So now I need my adhesive again. And you got to be careful because you see this hinge? When that goes up, you don't want the clay hitting that. So that's why I want to keep it just below. So let me put that right below it. You'll see I have a little lip there, and that's okay, because that'll give me a place to clean it up. So now I want to just take and I'm just going to cut just a tiny little notch out of here, just in case when that hinge opens, it has a space to get to. There we go. So you see when that opens now, it'll have a space. So I just want to take my blending tool and just smooth that out so it's not so rough looking. Okay. And now I can push everything up to the top. Okay, so now everything's level. You'll be able to open it very nicely. And now the last thing we need to do is clean up our bottom. But let's get everything pushed in nicely. Make sure it's nice and secure on there. And then we will just take our blade and go right over the very bottom. Oops. There we go. And I just want to make sure everything is pressed nicely onto my tin. I don't want to press down, I want to press in. Okay, so the last thing I want to do is roll this out again to do my sheet on my bottom. And then even though this is going to be on the bottom, we want to give it some design. So I'm just going to roll that over, carefully lift. And then I'm going to flip it. Okay. All right, so now we are just going to put it down very lightly, and then we will trace right around and make sure you do not hit your black. Just carefully trace around your tin. This is one reason why I like to have this on something I can move, like my little mats I usually use, but they're getting washed, so I have my piece of paper. Because I'd like to be able to move my pieces around without having to lift them all the time. Okay. Now, lift that up. And then, let me get a new one. Okay. Got a new one here. So, just spread that on. Okay. And now take your clay, set it on. And all I'm doing is kind of smoothing out the sides. So I'm kind of going like this with my fingers a bit to kind of make it bellow it down, I guess you could say. So it's not so edgy. See how it kind of smooths over and it looks much nicer and cleaner? All right, so now my last step before we put this in the oven is I want to get my mica powder. And I'm just going to use my finger. And then I'm just going to go right over. I'm not going to go crazy with it. I just want to kind of highlight some of it. Now, I don't want to get my black. I just want to get my yellow. Oops, I didn't get that on there. Okay. Then I just want to add a little bit of my orange one. Oops, that was way too much on that area. I didn't realize I had that much on my hand. All right, so just rub that on there good. Try to avoid making big blotches like that. If you get them, you get them. I want to get my edge. And then I just want to do a tiny, tiny bit on here. And just get my edge a little bit. Okay guys, so we are going to place this in the oven, 275 for a half hour. We do not need to bake it any longer. This clay is not thick, and according to our packages, we only have to bake it for a half hour for a 1/4 inch. So a lot of people think you have to bake things for a real long time, but follow the directions on your package and you can't go wrong. So half hour. We will place this in 275 for Primo clay, okay? And then we will come back and finish this up. All right, guys, so my piece is out of the oven. It's complete. I did decorate it a little bit more. I ended up taking it out of the oven. I let it cool off completely. And then I took my acrylic marker. This is one that is double-sided. So you see it has like a thicker tip on one side and then a tinier tip on the other side. And the tinier tip is fantastic for silk screens like this because you can see these are tiny little areas that I want to color. And the only way to really do that is if you have a skinny tip. So those markers are fantastic for this. And look how beautiful this box came out. I am so pleased with this. I ended up taking my Sculpey Gloss Glaze. I went over the entire piece. It opens up beautiful. You could put a number of different things in here if you like. Make this piece your own. Decorate it the way that you want to decorate it. You could put gemstones on here. There's so many things you can do. Just use your imagination and let your mind, go where it wants to be. Be creative. Have fun with this. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, if you don't have this kit, the link will be in my description area. So get the kit and follow along with me with the rest of the videos. See you guys next time. Bye.